Hello everyone and welcome back to the Common Sense Crypto channel. As with you always, this is Rich doing another video today on XRP. So I hope you're all having a wonderful day today wherever you are in this great world. We're gonna talk about XRP. And I gotta start with this. Huge news for XRP. Expert says prepare for this now. They're talking about the digital euro, which is coming, and how it's tied to XRP. But he's not far off on his prediction. Ripple swell 2025 global agreement confirmed for crypto and global CBDCs. Take a listen to this.
Made these announcements on cryptocurrencies. It did spur a greater degree of urgency in the European Central Bank around bringing forward a euro digital. That's for retail, but they're also talking about a wholesale digital currency. That's one area that the European Union is looking at. So I think what's really important in all of this debate, though, we do want to unlock the potential of the technologies. So I think there has to be some form of global concept around regulation, and as Roberta says, without stifling innovation. But if crypto and stablecoins are to be part of international transactions, well, then there has to be some form of international agreements in how we regulate. And that clearly is, I think, something that we have to talk about urgently, because the last thing we need is for there to be weaknesses in the system that could undermine the confidence in what we're trying to do. And that I think would be very damaging. So I just hope over the next number of years that like the OECD, for example, would have been the international organisation that would have discussed the whole issue of taxation, for example, Pillar 1, Pillar 2. And I think that we do need to sort of step up to the plate in terms of having some international forum whereby we can look at these issues so that we can have seamless regulation that allows for what it's meant to do, which is to be truly international in the flow of money through crypto, through stablecoin, and through the traditional systems. Yeah.
What have I been saying this entire time? You cannot have different regulations going from one country to another, or cross-border payments will never work. And CBDCs are coming. The US went in a different direction. They're going to have a stable coin. The digital dollar is most likely going to be issued by a private company like Ripple. Maybe RLUSD becomes the US digital dollar. But you cannot have different regulations, and that's the biggest setback right now. Once regulations are in place in every single country, it is absolutely go time. Crypto will rewrite the entire global financial system, and every transaction will run through crypto, says Standard Chartered head. This comes from King Valex. Take a listen.
Our belief, which I think is shared by the leadership of Hong Kong, is that pretty much all transactions will settle on blockchains eventually, and that all money will be digital. Think about what that means: a complete rewiring of the financial system.
They're telling you the new financial system is coming, yet people think this is like 10 years out. If we went back to the crypto crackdown, back to 2022 with the fall of FTX, the only people talking like this back then was Russia and China and the EU. It wasn't happening in the United States. Now it's all the talk everywhere you go. They're telling you you are on the verge of a new financial system. Ripple's RLUSD enters top 10 USD stablecoins less than a year after its debut. Ripple's US dollars pegged RLUSD has entered the top 10 stablecoins by market cap, reaching $1 billion less than a year after launch. Like I said, eventually it's going to become the #1 stablecoin. And that's why I think they're going to announce it as the US digital dollar at some point in the future. But this is happening very quick. RLUSD is not losing momentum in any way. It's gaining more and more momentum as every day goes by. Flare CEO Hugo Filion says, do more with your XRP. So he's talking about yield, earning yield from your XRP on Flare. I guess he's very serious about locking up 5% of the XRP supply on Flare. Now, Flare has some great options, and it's just getting going. Wait until Flare really starts to get moving. I'm telling you, if you could go back in time, you would buy XRP at 2 cents. Make sure you load up on a decent bag of Flare before the real breakout begins. Analyst, identical move to take XRP price to $13 by December 3rd. I hate when they put a time on things. And what he's citing is on November 5th, 2024, XRP started its rally up, hitting $2.90 by December 3rd. He's saying that history is about to repeat. But last year, we had the election and we got a pro-crypto president. We got other pro-crypto politicians elected in Washington. I think that's what really got XRP going. The only way I see a major breakout for XRP is if something big was to drop at Ripple swell. But short term, I think it's going to be the ETFs. ISO as well could bring value to XRP. After that, it's going to be regulations. Then Ripple becoming a bank and a possible IPO in 2026. But what's great about the ETFs, it's not just going to be a one-day event. It's going to be something that has inflows month over month pouring into this cryptocurrency. Finance expert explains XRP $30 trillion opportunity. So what they're talking about is tokenization. And they're saying that we will see $30 trillion market opportunity for XRP over the next 10 years. I'm telling you right now, Archax alone wants to bring $30 to $50 trillion worth of real-world assets to the XRP ledger. We're also going to see BlackRock bringing tokenized assets to the XRP ledger. Other companies are going to be doing the same thing. If you think it's going to take a decade to reach $30 trillion coming onto the XRP ledger, you're mistaken. It is going to happen within the next couple of years. Once tokenization starts to take off, everybody's going to be tokenizing assets. Retail's going to be tokenizing assets. Everybody's going to try to capitalize on this as soon as they possibly can. It's going to happen. It's going to reach 30 trillion way before 2035. Dark Defender has doubled down on their long-term XRP price target, met with some encouraging words as well as sarcasm. The $36.76 XRP price prediction wasn't followed by any details, simply stating XRP targets $36.76. Better get used to it to hearing this. But Dark Defender, he always relies on the charts. And believe it or not, in a time where I keep telling you, nobody could predict what's about to happen next because this market is so unpredictable right now, he's been getting close to it time and time again. And I think he's right. You couple the ETFs with ISO, with clarity coming, with institutional adoption coming, and I think we could see a $36 XRP. When would that happen? Most likely going into 2026, possibly Q1 of next year. But I still believe we're going to see a run-up by the end of 2025. The biggest macro trade of all time, $3.45 trillion today. Destination, $100 plus trillion. He's talking about the total market cap of crypto. Take a listen.
But that's a small part of the overall space. So if we're going to $100 trillion, how big is Bitcoin in that? 20 trillion? 25 trillion? Well, there's 75 trillion of other value. And that's what crypto is. It's the technology part of blockchain. How else can you use blockchain? And it was smart contracts that really changed everything.
And if that crypto thesis plays out, how would you explain that to an institutional investor? How does that future financial system on the blockchain look like? Where do you see the biggest potential?
So in the financial markets, everything will go on chain. So all equities will go on chain, quicker settlement. We're seeing money going on chain in terms of stablecoins. We'll see every derivative will end up being an NFT because they're just individualized contracts that can be settled instantaneously. That's what prediction markets are. They're basically derivative markets. So all of this is much more efficient way of ownership, monitoring flows, security, everything. So the financial system will en masse move entirely to this framework. It makes much more sense. So, but that is only part of the equation. The financial system is just some of this. But we've got a world where we're now about to compete with AI in the world that we live in. So we're going to need digital ID. We're going to need proof of who we are. Okay, well, that's an 8 billion person problem to get solved fast. With zero knowledge proof technology and blockchain, we can do that at scale, and we need it. Then we've got the rise of AI agents. And agents are, it's like hiring somebody off Fiverr to build a website for you, do a PowerPoint presentation, all of this stuff. You ask agents to do it, but agents still need to get paid because they cost in terms of compute and electricity. So how do they get paid instantaneously at the speed that AI and the internet operates? The only way is blockchain rails.
He's telling you that everything is going to be on chain. Everything around you is going to become a tokenized asset. And he's 100% right. Digital ID is definitely coming. We will see digital ID coincide with central bank digital currencies going live all throughout the world. But digital ID is the one thing that I hate the most because it goes down a very dark path. Your whole life is tied to it. Your work history, your health history, everything's going to be tied to that digital ID. The other thing he said was AI agents. They have to get paid as well. They're not going to be accepting cash. They're not going to be accepting paper money. They're going to be getting paid in crypto. That's why you're holding the robot money. You're going to have machines paying other machines. There's going to be so many micropayments happening on a daily basis. And people still think XRP is going to be sitting around $2 and change. XRP's price has to rise as we see the rise of AI and the true rise of blockchain becoming the new financial system. Class action lawsuit filed against Michael Saylor's strategy over Bitcoin. I'm sure all of you seen this coming. So it's been filed against Michael Saylor and his company strategy regarding Bitcoin investments and related financial advice. At the time of writing, several investors have actually joined together to allege that they were in fact misled about cryptocurrency performance and potential returns. This lawsuit follows increased criticism of the digital currency and investment market. Well, that's because Michael Saylor's telling you that it's space money. It's the only money in existence. You got to sell your kidney to buy Bitcoin. You got to dig in the furniture for loose change to buy Bitcoin. Mortgage the house and buy Bitcoin. It's like, come on. We all knew a crash was going to happen with Bitcoin. I still think it has one more push up before it really comes crashing down. And what's going to happen when Tether implodes at some point? Again, that's going to affect the price of Bitcoin as well. It's going to be a major black swan in crypto. But anything not tied to Tether, it's going to bounce back very quick. We are holding utility-driven cryptocurrencies. We are holding the cryptocurrencies of the future. Bitcoin will be irrelevant in the future. And until it happens, stay patient, stay positive, and let's get rich together. With that said, I'm going to wrap up this video. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate all of you. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great night.